of the challenge with Republicans is that they've broken all of their promises. They indicated that they were going to lower costs. In fact, lower costs on day one. Costs haven't gone down in America. Costs have gone up.
And that is the central agenda of the Trump administration: make life more affordable for the American public and opportunities booming for American businesses.
Well, you can see the affordability question is going to be the question as you head into 26. Axios writes Democrats target Trump's affordability crisis. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer working with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries to develop a coordinated strategy to make the 2026 election a referendum on affordability. The goal is to isolate and amplify the affordability issue at nearly every turn. Meantime, the core inflation rate today, watched by the Fed, hit 2.8%. Delayed September data shows that is lower than expected. So expect the Fed to lower interest rates coming up in coming days. And obviously Republicans pointing to where inflation was in the Biden administration. Let's bring in our panel. Fox News contributor Hugh Hewitt. Yemisi Egbewale is a former chief of staff and advisor to the Biden White House press office, and Politico White House reporter Megan Messerly. Hugh, what about this focus and where you see it going as we head into 26?
I welcome the focus, Brett, and good evening. I think if the message remains affordability decides elections, Republicans are going to like next November, because most prices depend upon energy, and the energy production policies that you saw Secretary Wright refer to there and Secretary Burgum over at Interior are bringing the cost of oil and gas down. Now, I was in Fort Worth this week. Gas cost $2.55 in Fort Worth this week. I was kind of surprised at how low it is. In the Beltway, it's about $3.50. And out in California, it's almost $5.50 on average. Depends on where you live, but it's going down. So if the focus stays on the price of gas and the price of food, which is impacted by the cost of energy as well, it's going to be a winning issue come November of next year. But that production's got to keep going. Wright and Burgum got to keep pumping out the oil, and I think that's in fact what's going to happen.
Yeah, Yemisi, I mean, that is a push that this administration is saying their energy push is going to kick in Q1, Q2, and people are going to start feeling the savings, and Democrats' sense of vulnerability there, I guess.
Well, I think that's what Democrats keep harping on, is that there's the promise of. And what Dems are really asking the American people is, were you not promised stability now? And prices can fall on paper, but we know that ultimately what matters is how people feel about the prices. And people currently feel squeezed right now. And if you say we can fix it a quarter from now, 2 quarters from now, Democrats can just turn around and say, but you came in and said that you could fix it on day one. It's promises made, and for a lot of Democrats, it's promises not kept.
Yeah, Yemisi, but obviously the Republicans say, wait, what happened in your term? We're cleaning up. You heard the vice president the other day. We're cleaning up the mess that we were left behind. That's their retort.
And a lot of Democrats are pushing back and saying, okay, maybe at the top of this year we would have accepted that and rolled over. But they're pushing back and they're fighting a lot because they're saying we're coming up on the end of 1 full year. And at some point, you have to pass on the blame to who's currently in power right now.
All right, so one of the affordability questions, Megan, is health care and these subsidies coming to the end. Here's Speaker Mike Johnson.
We have to reform it. I wish that we could rip it out from the roots and start over, but it's so deeply ingrained, it's sinister in that way, but it has broken the system.
When Johnson says he's not going to do anything, when half his caucus doesn't even want to repeal the ACA tax credits, come on. The fault is there, not with us.
So, Megan, is there hope? I mean, I had a Common Ground segment, a bipartisan effort to try to get something for an extension on the subsidies, but what are you hearing?
Yeah, I mean, that is the million-dollar question, Brett. These healthcare costs are no joke. Americans are seeing their premiums go up, even if they're, purchasing it through their employer, if they're purchasing it privately on the independent marketplaces. Their prices are going up a lot, especially if they are folks who are receiving these enhanced subsidies. And there's no great end in sight here. You know, what I'm hearing from my sources is that there's a lot of, behind the scenes conversations. There's a lot of interest in getting something done here. But the big challenge is the White House and congressional Republicans just aren't on the same page. And that's going to continue to be a problem as the White House grapples with what do we do to show the American people we are meaningfully moving to address affordability, including the cost of health care.
Meantime, there is a focus. We'll see the Reagan National Defense Forum this weekend, and we'll have full coverage of all of that. Focus on defense, focus on the world. Today, the president, Hugh, received the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize. Take a listen.
Definitely deserve the first FIFA Peace Prize for your action, for what you have obtained in your way.
This is truly one of the great honors of my life. And beyond awards, Johnny and I were discussing this. We saved millions and millions of lives.
Now, there's a lot of focus, obviously, Hugh, on Russia and Ukraine, but the president talks about all the other things that he's been involved in.
He's right, too. When you look at Thailand and Cambodia, that could have become quite the epic confrontation. The long-running war between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and tribes in Rwanda were taking many, many thousands of lives. There's peace processes underway. Of course, in Israel, he brought peace about between Israel and Hamas, at least a ceasefire, not a peace. It's not comprehensive. But why not FIFA giving out an award? They're more representative than Five Guys in Norway, right? So the Nobel Peace Prize comes from Five Guys in Norway. I like FIFA with their 120 Super Bowls or whatever the guy said today that the World Cup will be producing. Why not have them? They represent much more of the world than the panel of 5 people in Norway.
The president also, Yemisi, talked about praising the other 2 leaders on the stage, despite some pretty big trade dust-ups with Mexico and Canada. Take a listen.
We've had a tremendous relationship, working relationship with Canada. We have our Prime Minister of Canada there, and we have our President of Mexico. And we've worked closely with those 2 countries, and the coordination and friendship and relationship has been outstanding. And I want to thank you both very much, and your countries very much.
He's always very cordial, but there are some questions about tariffs and how that's going to work going forward, Yemisi.
Yeah, look, I'm a big FIFA fan, but I don't think that the FIFA draw is the place for a trade summit. I think FIFA in itself is a great example of America's global soft power, and it will be a good entryway for the president to open up his relationships with our closest allies and rebuild. I hope as we go into 2026, we'll see more of a cordial relationship between them, and maybe soccer is the thing that will unite us all.
Yeah. All right, let's do some winners and losers. Megan, winner first, then loser.
Yeah, for my winner, I'm going to say home buyers. We saw mortgage rates drop for the 2nd week in a row. And then with the Fed rate cut coming on the horizon, it looks like things are going to get better for home buyers. And then for losers, I have to pick the NFL. President Trump today, when he was at that World Cup drawing, said that maybe actually we should be calling soccer football here in America. It makes more sense, and said maybe the NFL is going to have to think up a new name.
All right, Hugh, winner and loser.
Oh, the winner is quite obviously Coach Ryan Day of the national champion Buckeyes. They beat Michigan last week, and Coach Day set a standard for class when he said win with humility. And then today, Chris Henry Jr. signed with Ohio State, and that was a double win for Coach Day and the greatest football program in the United States at the college level. The loser of the week, though, everyone who has to play the University of South Florida, because the University of South Florida got Brian Hartline out of Columbus, the best assistant coach down to Florida to be their big coach starting next year.
All right. There you go. I think I know who you're going to be cheering for tomorrow. Yemisi, winner and loser real quick.
Winner, Bad Bunny, dethroned Taylor Swift, most streamed on Spotify. Loser, Jeremy Harris, bringing drugs allegedly into Japan.
All right. Good stuff. Panel, thanks. My winner tonight is First Lady Melania Trump. She brought a lot of cheer to young patients and their families at Children's National Hospital in Washington today. 2 patients actually escorted her into the festive decorated atrium, and the First Lady sat in this big red chair, as you see there, in front of a large Christmas tree and read, "How does Santa go down the chimney?" She told the children she hopes Santa visits and gives a lot of toys. She also wished patients lots of strength. She got down and hugged them. It was really lovely for those kids at Children's National. We know. We've been there.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.